Midwest Music Fest is back and bigger than ever. 60 performers in 2 days, September 16th and 17th. See S. Carey, Field Report, The People Brothers Band, Night Moves, Dead Horses, Dosh, Gold, and so many more. Find tickets and your new favorite band at MidwestMusicFest.org. Get outside in Pepin County. Pack up the family and visit the childhood home of Laura Ingalls Wilder. Sail on Lake Pepin, bike the Chippewa River State Trail, hike up Maiden Rock, and throw a line in a trout stream. Sign up to win a vacation at visitpepincounty.com. Local musicians Stacy Hanson of Red Sky Warning and Andy Hughes of the reggae band TUGG have joined to form The Lake Effect. Additionally, they founded Broken Wrist Records as an entity to promote and book music. You can catch Tommy Prine, a Broken Wrist Records matinee production on September 5th, featuring the youngest son of the late legendary multi-Grammy award-winning artist, John Prine. You can find more conversations, food reviews, live music, and events on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is Lacrosse Local.
I think I've found a place in this daunting time and space where I finally feel like I've come alive.
Chatting with musician Stacy Hanson of Red Sky Warning, and also Andy Hughes of TUGG, and many other bands for both you guys. You guys kind of formed a collective now, sorts, called Lake Effect. So what kind of put that collaboration together, looking for a new project?
Stacy and I have been best friends for a long time, played a lot of shows and music, and leading into the pandemic, we were doing a lot of shows. So we both got a lot, I think, busier in the last 5 years as solo musicians or playing out acoustic by yourself or as a duo or something. And so going into the pandemic, we started doing these solo acoustic shows together, similar places we'd play, but we'd start swapping songs, kind of like they do in Nashville. We called it Nashville North. We had some of those, and they were going well, and we were kind of finding out the flow, and then the pandemic hit, and I think it was really thinking about really always wanting to sing together, knowing that we thought that there was probably something there with our voices, our love of bands that sort of share a lead singer role, like Dispatch and Jamestown Revival, Slightly Stupid. I think that's always fascinated both of us. So that's really the origin, really was harmonies and kind of combining these two things that we do all the time into one.
Yeah, so I mean, it was just kind of a natural progression to go from the full bands from both of your groups. I know Red Sky Warning here is kind of having a goodbye show here at the end of the month as well, but going from this kind of full band structure to just the two of you, does that change the songwriting process, or are you just swapping?
For the most part, I think, we've kind of took a stab at, we've written some stuff together, which came pretty easy, I think. And then I think more, it's just kind of delving in deeper to this band. It's kind of like figuring out, what we can do, and we kind of play off each other that way. And it just kind of seems to work pretty naturally.
So is it something also that it's is it some sense a duo, or is there anyone that particularly takes the lead in any of these songs?
Yeah, so I think the chemistry was pretty unmistakable. And again, the harmony, we really don't talk about who leads or what. Really, it's like better part of the last year, almost a year, we've sort of done this, felt it out. We've never really forced anything. Didn't even talk about that. I'm super glad we did that. It's allowed us to sort of let the songs and the way that Stacy and I want to perform together sort of drive this whole thing. And again, didn't talk about it, but we started finding songs that we thought we could sing together with our voices, cover songs or whatever you want to call it. But we approached it with how we could sort of bring what we were working on to it. Again, without talking about it, what that did is it sort of allowed us to work on a sound within songs that were there. And then originals kind of came around that. And it's because we did that, we're sort of following this sound now. And I feel, at least I think Stacy too, I have a much better idea of where we want to take the sound, I guess.
Kind of coming out of that, we were kind of shooting the shit before this chat, but it sounds like you have you called it a 3P that's coming out soon with your band.
Yes. Yeah. Broken Wrist Records. So that's the big change too, is that Broken Wrist Records, Stacy and I have gone from doing ticketed shows, Tommy Prine, Jeffrey Foucault, and which we'll still be doing those, helping people book. But now we're going to be recording and releasing music. So the 3P idea is a short kind of EP. So the Lake Effect will have a 3P coming out very soon.
With those 3 songs, can you kind of go a rundown in each one? Do you have finished names, or who took the lead on them, or how did they come?
So 3 songs. It's good to mention we're working with our partner in Broken Wrist Records, Brian Bethke, who's another singer-songwriter, musician from Osseo area. And Brian has sort of led the way in the production, has a really keen ear for mixing and sort of hearing how to present songs in a recording format. We've been going down to Brian's in Osseo, and we just started cutting stuff, and it went really fast. We again, kind of like what we talked about. We had no plan and really didn't know what we were getting into the day we did it. And it ended up being a lot of like one takes, like one take cuts and things like that. Stacy and I sat in a room and basically some songs, a couple we played together, some of the Pearl Jam stuff we were working on. And then we sat down and cut some originals again that we had worked on live, but really hadn't talked much about format and stuff like that. So it sort of forced us to sort of put it down on tape. 3 songs we kept. The first song is called Kills Me to Say.
Let you in on something I know. I almost gave up 6 months ago. I was feeling low, that kind of blue, heavy like rain pouring down.
And that's one that I added later in the session, just put an acoustic and a vocal down. And that song's just about where what I've gone through in the last couple of years, life changes and things like that. So it's kind of a song like that. What I like about the EP is it starts out, acoustic guitar, my voice, and then Stacy's voice comes in on the chorus of This Kills Me to Say. And we hope that people listen to it, but we were just as surprised and sort of excited to start hearing this third voice that's kind of created. So that's the first song. Stacy can do the second song.
So the second song is called Don't Say Goodbye.
Never goes away. It never goes away. I've been running for so long. I'm so tired of hanging on. All the things that always seem to bring me down.
I don't think we've even figured out a track listing yet. So, well, maybe have. But so that song I wrote somewhere during the pandemic. It's kind of funny because my family and I had rented a cabin up by Hatfield, Lake Arbutus, dead of winter, just trying to get away and get some sense of normalcy, I think. And I just kind of locked myself in a room and wrote that song. And it's a pretty simple 4-chord song that just seemed pretty important to me at the time. And it's kind of the only good thing that I got out of the pandemic, I think. But then been playing it for about a year together now. Andy added this cool electric guitar part to it, which is kind of droney, and it's got a cool dynamic to it. Yeah, happy with the way it turned out.
That song, again, it's like Stacy and Doom, again, one take. I was in the room with him. It's, that's how we're recording these. And we didn't talk about that's how we're going to do it, but just tried to set up a really good feeling working with Brian. We're all best friends, and we're all singers and songwriters, and we're all honest with each other. And Stacy did that in one take with his acoustic. So it's an acoustic guitar. It's Stacy's voice. As I said, I put like a really subtle, like electric guitar kind of part, and a tambourine, which has become a pretty big part for us. Our songs is this sort of this percussion that we started playing. We started using tambourines and cajones, and now you'll see a snare drum and a hi-hat when you play it. Don't Say Goodbye to me is that it's a perfect representation of like a song Stacy wrote and plays. Great song, start to finish. He can play it by himself, and it's a killer song. But in this process, this collaboration, Brian and myself were able to sort of add in these little parts that we thought would add to this great song Stacy wrote. So the third song we have on there is called Honey and Cream.
She got a laugh so heavenly, my soul bit dirty, she makes it clean.
You know, it's just one of those songs that kind of fell out. I'm in a new relationship. I'm just sort of head over heels in love. And, you know, it's been a long time to sort of get to that place and through some stuff. As Stacy said, one of the good things I got out of the pandemic was that relationship and that song. It's definitely more of, I guess there's a reggae vibe to it. And so we kind of went with that. And we've been playing it live. And Stacy added incredible high harmony over the chorus. And it's just meant to be a simple love song. Most of it came out very quick. I always thought maybe I wanted to add more and do more things to it. And really, when I went back, I thought, you know, like Stacy said with Don't Say Goodbye, I couldn't be more happy with how we've been playing it enough so you have an idea of maybe how it would get recorded. Stacy was in the room, Brian was in the room, and I did that one take. And then, you know, we added in Stacy's harmonies. Joe Ganser from TUGG plays with me in TUGG, and also with Stacy and Red Sky Warning. He put just an incredible bass line on the song. The part that I like about these three songs is that genre-wise, they're a bit different, or they go. But what we hoped what we could do is create that sort of like voice that you'd hear throughout. And I feel like we did. So that's the 3P there.
Another arm to you guys. We've connected on an individually, Stacy and Andy, talking about Broken Wrist Records. You guys kind of introduced me to Tommy Prine, so I got to chat with him, you know, I believe it was about a year ago. How has Broken Wrist Records kind of been developing? You know, what's going on with that project?
We do have another Tommy Prine show coming up. He's coming back to Leon Leona's on September 5th. Pretty excited about it. You know, it's kind of the same thing that we're doing with the Lake Effect. Like, we're not forcing anything. We're just kind of reaching out to people that we admire and respect and want to work with and want to help, you know, in any way that we can. And so we're just kind of trying to find our way there. We're kind of branching out a little bit into, you know, Andy kind of handles the marketing end of it. I'm kind of started diving into doing some graphic design, and, you know, I'd really like to do some, you know, artwork for bands and posters. And it's a part of me that in music that I've always loved, just cover art and posters for shows, and something I've always been into. So it's kind of cool to get to do some of that stuff now. And for this next year, we're just kind of trying to branch out more and just thinking how we can do things a little bit bigger and a little bit better.
Stacy hit on it. I mean, the idea it really was no more than we were at that same cabin at a different time that Stacy talked about. And really the idea was to force ourselves to write songs, and we were going to help each other because we're best friends and we play with each other so much, and we're sitting here hearing each other's songs going, man, it's a great song. It's a great song. And so the idea was to get together and really we talked about songs, but we talked about this idea that, wow, we've, you know, each of us, and probably like, you know, Derek from Soapbox, and I mean, the list goes on and on. Cheech, I mean, of guys that we know are incredibly talented, write songs, book their own shows, promote their own shows, help book other bands, help bands with their bios, help bands, that Stacy said, with their posters. And so it was this idea of like, you know, we're all out here and we're all working really hard, and there's so much talent, you know, not just music, not just songwriting. As Stacy said, we all have multiple things, and we've been in this long enough. I love PR, old school PR. So I love writing band bios and write-ups like that, and the marketing aspect of how that can roll out. Stacy and on the artwork, Brian with recording, and I'm trying to learn as much as I can on the recording front. So it's really this cool thing that we don't know exactly where it will go, but where it's starting to go is to have all these people who have been do-it-yourself musicians or artists, and we're basically hand-picking people we love and always work with to work together to say, you know, well, if Stacy can do artwork for you and I can do a band bio, and Brian's better at mixing, we got folks that are coming in on the merchandise side. And that's really the idea, is that maybe we could do a collective. There's so much talent in our town, and there's so much art, and there's so many artists. And rather than feel like we're always competing with each other, this is Stacy and I's idea of beginning this process of seeking out and putting together collaborations so that we're not doing that. And on top of it, I think we're helping each other put out better stuff, and we're sort of we're pushing each other to do the same.
It seems like you guys got a lot going on. It seems like, doing multiple projects, pulling this new business together and new music. Is there something coming down the line for, either collaboratively or individually that you're really excited about?
We've got some things I'm excited about, and it's in the music. We have some additional recordings, and we have some ideas of the folks we work with as far as music and presenting and how. Now, again, we don't know how we're going to do it quite yet. TUGG has new music. I know Stacy, he was at the studio yesterday. So we've got, I think the big thing for us is we want to find some more ticketed events this year. We will definitely release music. How and when we'll be sort of deciding. The Lake Effect, I believe, will probably be the front runner. And then Brian has an 80s album that he's been releasing singles for. Lonely as a Bug was the first single. And then he's going to be releasing that full album in October. So it looks like we're going to be doing some releases. We just need to sort of, again, figure out what those will look like.
Just in the last month, even 2 months, really, we've been really busy with shows, and playing out a lot. But we've really kind of wanted to get some content out there, so it's cool that all this stuff's kind of coming to fruition right now. And I think we'll have a pretty steady stream of stuff coming out over the next year, which is cool, I think.
And that's the cool thing I'm excited about, is that we have some surprises. We're trying to not only just release, be in projects ourselves and release music, but really, as Stacy said, handpick really talented people who are friends of ours from this area and assist them in putting out music. So I think some of the genres and some of the places that we're going to go may surprise people, may not. But I think definitely, I think if people think they maybe have us pegged as far as genre, I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised.
So if people want to find out more about the band, also, Broken Wrist Records, if they want to reach out of any services you could provide, what's the best avenue for them to go to?
BrokenWristRecords.com. And then Stacy has an Instagram page for The Lake Effect, which is...
Oh, it's just, I think it's listed under Hanson and Hughes. I don't know how it came up that way, but...
Social media wise, we're getting we got to get on our game here. So we've got lots of pages coming. Broken Wrist Records, either on Facebook or the Lake Effect on Instagram, and probably Broken Wrist Records pages on most of the platforms are coming, even some of the new ones like TikTok and stuff. We're just old, so we got to figure it out. Gotta have our daughters help us, they'll walk us out to the camera and teach us how to do it.
Well, I can't wait for the TikTok. So
yeah.
Lacrosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you'd like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at Lacrosse Local. Find out more about us at lacrosselocal.com, and you can subscribe to the Lacrosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We appreciate it.